Welcome to this Soulard Technology Vanderbilt SMS training session. Today we'll be looking at manual override execution and manual override definition. We'll start with manual override execution. From this program, you can execute override tasks and override sets for specific doors and group of doors. A couple different views that you could use: the controller tree view, the override set view, the area set view, reader view, contact view, and relay view. More than likely, the two that you will be in most are override set view and reader view, but you can also use the controller tree view to navigate. If you're using the controller tree view, you will expand the SIM port, and then your controllers to get to the door that you want to control. Otherwise, you can go to the reader view, which will list all of your readers. You can click the reader tab to sort by alphabetically ascending or descending. When you highlight a specific reader, you will see 4 to 6 typically available overrides that you can execute. If you're using the 723 reader template when you're programming the reader, by default you will have these 4 override tasks. The first one being unlock reader momentarily, which will send a 3-second unlock command to that door, similar to a card swipe. So if you have a technician that is at that door that you need to unlock that door for them to let them in, you could come in here, go to East Entrance, select this task, execute it, and it would unlock that door for 3 seconds and then relock. Unlock reader indefinitely will send an unlock command to that door, and it will keep it unlocked permanently until a reset command is sent to it. So this one, if you do use this and you unlock it, you do want to make sure that you go back in and hit the reset reader indefinitely. Otherwise that door will unlock and stay unlocked permanently. The lockdown reader indefinitely will put that door in lockdown mode, again indefinitely, or until a reset reader command is sent to it. That will turn the lock into lockdown mode, so it'll take it off its schedule. It will not allow any card swipes unless that card holder has pass-through enabled for their card and cardholder definitions. And the reset reader indefinitely will reset that reader to whatever state it's currently supposed to be in at that time. If it's supposed to be locked, it'll lock that door, allow card swipes. If it is supposed to be on a schedule, it'll take it out of lockdown or unlock indefinitely, and it will unlock the door on its schedule, and then it will close at whatever that scheduled time is set to expire. The other 2 transaction or override tasks that you may see in here, if in automatic overrides, when applying a schedule, you selected the attach a pair of suspend and restore automatic overrides to that schedule, you will see those listed here as well. So on our main entrance, which we added and checked that box in the time zone video, we now see that suspend and restore. So if this door was scheduled unlocked from 7 a.m. until 5 p.m., if everybody in the office was leaving for lunch or had a lunch meeting, you could execute this task at noon. It would take the door off its schedule and it would stay off for the rest of the day. But then the next day at 7 a.m. it would unlock like it's supposed to. If everybody came back at 1, or that meeting ended at 1, and you wanted to restore it, you could execute this task, restore automatic override, and it would put that door back on its schedule for the remainder of the day. So at 5 o'clock when it's supposed to lock, it would, and then the next day it would unlock at 7 a.m. like it's supposed to. So these are good ways to manually open or lock down, reset a door if needed. The other tab that you will likely use in this program is the override set view. Right now we don't have any override sets created, but if you had a lockdown override set to lock down all the doors, or a reset lockdown button, or a set to unlock or reset all the doors, you could come into here, select that override set, execute the entire set, and it would do that action to all the doors that are within that set. We'll come back to here after we create an override set and manual override definition and show you how that will look in this screen. So we'll exit out of manual override execution and we'll go to manual override definition. Within this program, you'll see a list of all the override tasks created. So if we expand this, you will see for the east entrance, you will see the unlock reader momentarily, indefinitely, lockdown, reset. You'll see it for the finance office, IT. If you scroll down to the main entrance, you will see those 4 here. And you will also see the suspend and restore automatic override for that door, and so on for every door that you've created. If you did not use a template to program your reader and you program the contacts and readers and relays manually, then you would have to also manually create these override tasks. You can, from within this window, execute a task as well. So if you wanted to execute a unlock reader momentarily on the east entrance, you could select that, go down to the bottom and hit execute task, and that would allow you to do that. But if you're trying to execute a task, I would generally do it from the manual override execution window to avoid making a mistake or accidentally executing a set instead of a task. It's just a little easier to navigate in that screen. If you did want to create a new override task, you could hit the plus icon up here on the right side main spot. Hit plus, you can enter in that description, associated device, save that. So if we just add one in here as a test, click on here to add our associated device. Say we want it to be the reader itself. We'll say the east entrance. We'll hit OK, save and close. It creates this task, and then you have to program the override task action items as well to do whatever you want it to do in that situation. Some scenarios where you may do this is if you have a lockdown button or multiple lockdown buttons. Whenever a lockdown is pressed, you want the LED on all the lockdown buttons to go red, signifying that the building is in lockdown. You could create an LED red for the east entrance lockdown button, and then on the action item, you would program a energized relay or an LED red action item for that lockdown button. If you need to delete one, you would just simply highlight it up here in the top, hit the minus to delete that record. On the left side, you'll see the override set header. So this is to create an override set. We'll hit the plus icon and say we want to lock down the building. Once we create that description, save and close. So that will create that area set or that override set. But if you check this and then you look at override tasks by set, you will see nothing is in there currently. We're going to go ahead and create a second set that is lockdown building reset if we want, so we can take the building out of lockdown and save and close. So to add override tasks to these sets, we will check the one that we want to add these to. And then I like to just sort by description. It will show me all my lockdown reader indefinitely tasks. That's what we want to select for the lockdown building set. And then I'm just going to hold shift, click this top one. So that selects all the lockdown reader indefinitely. I'm going to go over here in the white area, click and drag into the override set area. It will ask you, do you want to add these 20 override tasks to the one override set that you have selected? And I'll hit yes. Once you see it stop moving down here, you can go to this lockdown building, check that box, hit override task by set, and now you'll see those in that set. So if you do add more doors, you want those added to the set, you do have to come in here after you program those doors and add those doors, the lockdown reader indefinitely, to that override set. So now we're going to do the same thing for the lockdown building reset. So we're going to highlight that, make sure we're on all override tasks. Come down here to the reset reader indefinitely. Again, I'm going to hold shift, select the last one I want to select. It's going to select all those in between the 2 points I clicked on. Again, I'm going to come over here into the white area. If I do click on the actual text here after selecting these and try to move this over, it's going to only select that one that you have selected. So again, if you click the first one, hold shift, click the last one you want to select to highlight all of those, click in the white area and drag over to the white area on the left side of the screen, drop, it'll ask you to confirm the 20 override task to the one set, and you can hit yes. One thing to keep in mind when you do copy over the lockdown reader, just remember that number so that you know that we copied over 20 for lockdown. Now we're copying over 20 for the reset, just to make sure that you have all those selected. With 20 doors, it's pretty easy to remember. Try to make sure that you get all of those selected. But if you have a couple hundred doors or a couple close to 100 doors at multiple buildings and you have multiple lockdown sets for different buildings, you just want to make sure that you have a matching number in there so that all of those match and all the doors in that building that you want to go into lockdown actually go into lockdown. So now if we check this box and look at override tasks by set, you can see that all of these are now in that set. So that's how you create an override set. So lockdown override set and a reset lockdown override set. Again, from this manual override definition, you can select this lockdown set and you could execute this set down here at the bottom. But again, generally, if we exit out of this and go back to manual override execution, and now we're in this override set view, you can see these two override sets are now added here for you to execute the set from here, or within this, you can execute the override task, or you can go to the reader view and do that individual task if you need to do one individual door. Again, similar to other programs, manual override execution and manual override definition utilize a lot of the same information. So if you have manual override execution open, so if we minimize this and we go to manual override definition and reopen this, if we create a new override set, we'll call it test, save and close. So we've created this in manual override definition. If I close out of this and then I maximize or restore my manual override execution because I had it open, I'm not going to see that unless you go to, I guess you'd have to close out of this and then reopen it for it to refresh. And now you see that test override set listed in here. So if you have both programs open, a change in one may not be reflected in the other until you close out and reopen to refresh that page. That concludes manual override definition and manual override execution. Please join us for our next training session.